smash Chelsea earlier in the week, and Liverpool lose the Merseyside derby, and they knew that there would be a little bit of a gap between themselves and Liverpool if they could win tonight, and they've done that by 4 goals to 0. They've closed the gap to Arsenal to a point. A brilliant opening goal from Kevin De Bruyne, his first ever Premier League header, and then 2 goals for Phil Foden, who was today's man of the match before half-time. City added a 4 through Julian Alvarez. They had a couple of other chances as well, but it has been the perfect away performance. The Blues have won at the Amex Stadium by 4 goals to 0. Well, let's go back to the studio and we can join Paul Dickov, Keith Curle and Ellard.
Well, a confident, comprehensive win on the road, total domination from our boys in blue. It really sets the tone for the run-in. This is the time of season, Paul, where everyone says this is City's time of the year. The stats to back it up are there. City's record in games played between January and May in the last 4 seasons, a win percentage of 74%.
Yeah, that's ridiculous, but it just shows you why they've just won 3 Premier Leagues in a row on the course for a 4th. People say it's this time of year that Man City really kick in and show everybody what they're all about. And last 4 league games now, it's 4 against Villa, 4 away at Palace, 5 at Luton, 4 away at Brighton tonight. And that was a tough game tonight on paper. A lot of people speaking to leading into the game were saying it's going to be really tricky for City tonight, and they've been absolutely fantastic. The football with the ball, the energy, the press without it. And that's the stuff champions do. They go away from home this time of the season, when the pressure's on, and they go and show everybody, they put a marker and show everybody what they're all about.
I think Ali just mentioned it then in his commentary, a perfect away performance, but at this time of the year as well. Again, I mentioned it in the preview. I was nervous about this game.
Yeah.
But sometimes, and I think going back to when I played, it's not a bad thing to have nerves.
No.
It's a good thing, but it's how you use those nerves. It's about the foundations that you've got as a player, as a team. So then, when you're nervous, you automatically go to your fundamentals, which is like something that you work on every day.
That perfect away performance, as both you and Ali mentioned, I'm sure Pep will be picking apart the fine margins and everything he's seen as well. But for the layman, it seems like a kind of no-notes performance. This will be a very easy full-time.
Yeah, it should be, but what they'll be talking about now is, Keith will tell, being rest, recover and get ready for Forest now. They've enjoyed that. They'll take the confidence from the game tonight into Sunday, but all eyes are on Sunday now. Yeah.
If you're a coach or you're putting on a coaching clinic, that first 45 minutes, there's so many topics that you could take out of that and run sessions on that were perfected today by Man City. Their passing, their movement, their rotation, their forward runs, their understanding of the game. You could run coaching sessions or study that as a aspiring coach, and it's one of those. Excellent. So many topics that were executed to perfection in that the first 45 minutes.
Well, a lovely shot of the Amex there, and we can head back now. FG is with Michael Brown.
Yes, welcome back to the American Express Stadium. The fans are behind us. Manchester City 4, Brighton 0. As far as performances go, Brownie, that was absolutely incredible, wasn't it?
Do you know what? It was really interesting when it started off with the tempo moving around. Brighton had a half a chance, and then that move forward into Walker. De Bruyne just hanging around. The ball comes in. De Bruyne diving header like you've never seen. Not only a header in the Premier League, a diving header into the top corner, changed the whole outcome. And then the professionalism, the way they moved the ball around. I mean, everybody wanted it. Everybody was coming short, little triangles, moving it around, 1v1 duels, running the full length of the pitch with high intensity sprints. Top away performance. What about Phil Foden as well?
Phil Foden, absolutely incredible. Just like the fans behind us, Brownie. Edison's going into the crowd now.
Look how good that
to
is
give
now.
his
Amazing,
shirt. You
it?
can see the whole squad there showing their appreciation. But all in all, absolutely sensational from every single one of these Man City players.
You come all this way and you witness a performance like that. You watch your team, determination, organisation, everybody to a man, literally, the way they've gone about their job. Out of possession, the way they pressed this Brighton team. They didn't give them a moment. It was a really, really special performance, that. And watch out all the rest of the Premier League when you're looking and thinking, this is a game that City were under pressure to go and get a result, and look what they've just done.
And look at the smiles on the face, especially of Nathan Ake there with Jack walking off the pitch, our Croatian duo, and the man who just said he scored a diving header, and then Manu Akanji as well. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, fantastic, isn't it? De Bruyne won't even believe it. Look at that little hug there. Pep Guardiola, Phil Foden, Kovacic as well. I thought he had a really good game, the way he controlled things in the middle of the pitch, always wanting to get the ball. So it wasn't just Foden, it was everybody on the pitch. Substitutes, contributors that come on. The Kanji there just walking as the supporters keep going. That was a top performance. It was a statement performance from Manchester City and this side, and then literally they're going off now after those celebrations, supporters witnessing that. Brilliant night of football.
A brilliant night of football and a long journey home for these guys, but a brilliant night, a real big step in the title race as well.
Yeah, I think so, and I think as well, you know, people are sat at home going, right, Brighton is a chance now. Can they get something? Can they take points off City? They've absolutely blown them away. Arsenal sat looking at this thinking, really? Has that just happened? Was it that comfortable for City? So bring it on. The title race is on, and we expected that. I didn't expect it to be as comfortable today against Brighton. I thought we'd win the game, but not to that extent. It was fantastic.
Well, it's a memorable away day for them supporters and for everyone watching on Matchday Live as well. Thank you for doing your excellent work on co-coms as always, Brownie.
You enjoy them ones, don't you?
I did. And now Ellen said you've got to do a seagull sound before we head back.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I've been watching it, and everybody's saying that the two of you are going to do it. So who's going to go first, FG?
I'll go. Let's do it. You can cut the camera now, Darryl.
Do you know what? I absolutely expected that from him. And fair play to FG. Safe journey home to the pair of you. As they said, comprehensive performance there. We saw a clip of the league table. You could see the title race graphic up there. So a point behind Arsenal. Game in hand, Spurs away last week of the season. And then the goal difference, I know we spoke about it earlier, now cut to 8. Paul, what do you make of that?
Look, it's exciting, isn't it? But, you know, all the lads will be thinking about now is the Forest game on Sunday. Putting a performance like that from now the last 5 games of the season, you can't see he's getting beat. You can see he's going and winning every game, and it seems as if they've got a real determination about them. You know, tonight
there was a freshness about them tonight, wasn't there?
They were so sharp in everything that they did.
Yeah.
And then you obviously take Kevin off, Bernardo Silva off, Phil off, get some minutes in Jack, Jeremy Duka managing the squad. So it was fantastic. That's probably one of the best performances of the season, I think, when you take everything into consideration.
45,
Talk about managing the squad. Phil Foden pulled on a brace, on a hat-trick. Second time that's happened this season. Pep, though, won't care about those individual honours. He'll be thinking bigger picture. Definitely
big picture. Like I say, we've got some important games coming up, and the key players have got to maintain that, not just the physical sharpness, it's the mental sharpness as well, and that hunger is one of those. You can imagine now the next game, knowing Pep, Phil probably won't start. but no, it's one of those. But you've got that hunger and that desire and determination throughout the squad. Yeah. Which is vitally important. At this stage of the season, everybody's on the same page. And again, what I think Dickov mentioned it earlier on, now it's about rest, recovery, and the mental approach to the game.
Absolutely. A player that Brownie mentioned there, you mentioned during, as we were sat here watching the game, Manu Akanji, just how good was he tonight? He's just a Rolls Royce of a player, isn't he? Yeah. Nothing flusters him. Defensively, he's fantastic, one-on-one. He's super quick. There's not many people that's going to run him behind, and he brings a calmness about the defence when he plays, whether it's that right back or left back. You know, he's played everywhere across the back four. He's played that position moving into midfield.
How much did he cost?
15 million was it? You know, it's absolute steal.
You don't get a lot for your money now.
No, you don't at all. But I love watching him. You know, he's a top defender. Talking to defenders, the man wearing the armband tonight, I've heard that in the pre-match huddle, the cameras and the microphone picked up Kyle Walker saying, "Let's make history." 4 in a row. It's hard to comprehend that achievement. As you know, you've seen the club and everything it's gone through. Just how crazy would that be? It would. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself and tempt fate, but when you look at the great teams that has been in the Premier League, you know, obviously Sir Alex's team, Jose Mourinho's, Arsene Wenger's Invincibles, they've never done it. No. and for me, it's arguably a tougher league to win now. You know, back then it was always Arsenal going against United or United going against Chelsea. There was always two teams going for it. Now you're talking about, well, 5 years ago, everybody was saying it was a top 4. Now they're saying it's a top 6 and 7. So it shows you how difficult it is to do it. And this year, especially with how tight it is. So if they manage to go over the line, they'll 100%, in my opinion, they are already. But will 100% be the best team that's ever played in this country.
You mentioned there sort of the teams that are in the run for the title, but I think one of the other things this season as well that's made it particularly hard of Premier League is the rise of teams who, you know, were in and around the bottom half of the drop zone as well. You look at Bournemouth taking points off Manchester United in the manner and style they did. You know, the rise of these teams who, the standard, Fulham, you know, even Wolves, you know, the standard of teams playing in the sort of the mid-table bottom half who aren't necessarily competing for Europe, you know, they've still turned up, and that just the quality across the league is so much higher. Would this then, I know we say we don't want to tempt fate or anything, but would this be the biggest achievement out of all the Premier Leagues if Pep does it this year? Again,
I think it's difficult to start talking about ifs and ands. I think the focus now is still got to be, I know it's a cliche, but you go back to the next game. If it happens, then I think that then you talk about it. Now again, I think you can tell there's a focus within the group. Yeah, they're not embarrassed or shying away from what their end goal is, but they're taking it by, you make history by, you've got to win this game today. Yeah. And it's one of those, that's where the focus is, zoning it in on that day for that 90 minutes or that 105 minutes is one of those, get focused, this is what we're about.
We previewed it with our game during the show, Pep's 300th game on Sunday. Everything he's done, from I think everyone would agree at the club, but surely one of the greatest managers, if not the greatest manager of all time.
Absolutely, and it's sort of, it makes me laugh. I remember when Pep first came, everybody was saying he only does 2 or 3 seasons at a club and everything else. Now, is it his 8th, 9th season now? 300 games, unbelievable achievement. I mean, his win record must be percentage-wise up there with the very best, if not the best. And he's just, as a person, as a coach, he's the best that's out there.
How many assistant managers has he had in that time as well?
Yeah, and turnover of players.
Yeah. And again, I think it's about, it's easier to manage when you know the structure behind you is right. The foundations of this football club now are right, which allows him to go and manage and coach how a lot of managers want to. A lot of managers get caught up in external things that go off around the pitch, around the politics of the football club. That doesn't happen here. Pep was allowed to focus on improving, developing and winning games.
And he's had to replace some absolute club legend. That was how we're going to replace Vincent Kompany. Yeah. You know, Diaz comes in, Fernandinho. He was never going to get at the time. Then Rodri comes in. You know, at the time that we changed how we were playing, there was Leroy and Raheem out wide. They changed that around with Jack and Phil and Doug. You know, it keeps evolving all the time. Sergio Aguero, how are we going to replace him? Went with the false 9, worked, changed it, brought Erling in. You know, the way he evolves his teams, he's probably had to do 3...
And still a progression for young players as well.
In the short space of time that he's been there, and it is in 8 years, he's probably had to have 3 different teams and 3 different ways of playing. But every time he changes, people try and catch him up, and by the time they get nearly catching him up, he'll change something again. You know, the inverted fullbacks. This season we've done it. You see everybody trying to do that now. You know, you've seen tonight, you know, the 4 across 5 across the middle, all played in central midfield, and the fullbacks played like wingers. So it just shows you how intelligent and how great he is as a manager. He's ahead of everybody else.
He's ahead of the game.
Because he's shaping the game in so many ways, as you mentioned, but you mentioned Vincent Kompany, Mikel Arteta, Enzo Maresca now at Leicester. You know, these are managers, future managers. You know, obviously Arteta a manager for now, but you'd say Kompany and Maresca managers for the future, who have come through his stable and learnt from him. And, you know, it's not just the Premier League he's shaping with Kompany in his time when Burnley were in the Championship and now Leicester. He's shaping the lower divisions as well. Yeah,
definitely. Again, I'm lucky enough that I go and watch a lot of football now. And again, you can tell there's more football being played, more pass completions, more dominance of possession, more of a possession-based game. Not every manager and every club are getting it right, or player are getting it exactly right. But the mindset now is on possession-based football. getting the possession and direction and getting the numbers in the right areas is the next step. And again, the lower down you go, excellent to see it. But it's, the end result is not always the same.
And here's the thing with Pep, people from the outside who want to have a go, they say, oh yeah, but he's got good players. He's got the players to play that way. He improves all the players that come in. You know, and you speak about Kevin De Bruyne was at the top level, then Pep comes in and takes it to a different level again. So all the players, whether he's inherited them or he's brought them in, they've all improved to a different level, and that's got to be down to him as a coach.
But if you have a look as well, when like City today, it never looked difficult. So they make the play look that simple because they've got the right support at the right time, the right numbers in the right areas at the same time, and the possession play and the direction of the passes, it all looks so simple. But let me tell you, it's difficult to replicate.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we see that all the time. Just to back up what you've both said, Pep has just said in his post-match interview that just because they've done this before doesn't mean they'll do it again. So, again, a prime example of what you've said repeatedly tonight, Keith, that these players and the manager are only looking towards the next game.
It's maintaining a focus, which you need. He would have said well done's, but you can imagine Pep that rest, recover, and then it's about mental approach, making sure the changing room has got the right in the right mental focus. There's a challenge on, and again, with good players, you either entertain them, challenge them, or put demands on them.
We're looking ahead to that next game and the mental focus. How's your two mental focus? You're going to be back here for us for this Nottingham Forest clash?
Yeah, I'm down at the City Ground on Sunday for you, so I'm looking forward to that and get a similar performance.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Sunday in the studio. Again, it's another challenging game. You're going to go into an environment where the Forest are fighting for their lives, and you have to respect that.
And you look at particularly what's happened at Forest this week, the controversy, the drama, the absolutely mind-boggling situation that's gone on, that's left us all a bit gobsmacked. But the fans, the players, that's going to be quite the atmosphere to walk into.
It will be, and you know, it'll be the Forest fans will be doing everything they can to try and boost the team and what they're doing. But you know, if you're a Forest player, I know they say players don't sit and watch games in other teams. If you're watching that tonight, you're going to be thinking, oh no, I'm not looking forward to Sunday when you're seeing De Bruyne coming off and Grealish coming on, you know, Doku coming off, Phil Foden going off. So they'll be worried about it, but look, they've got to be as professional as they were tonight. Start the game properly, take the sting out of the fans, create possession, play quick, and if they do that, as I said at the very, very start, if City play as they can do as they did tonight, they'll win every game.
Will that be the message from the manager? More of the same, please?
Yeah, definitely. And again, who knows what the starting 11 is going to be? But what you think is Pep will do his homework. His backroom staff will do his homework, and they will identify weaknesses that they can exploit. And so it could be, might go and play with two wide players out wide. Might play with two holding midfield players. Might play with one holding midfield players. Might play with two up front. Who knows?
I love hearing you speak about it from a manager's perspective. Is it something that's really exciting to see Pep and everything he does? You know, it's almost like he's playing with he's got so many incredible toys to play with, and he's doing it so well. From a manager's perspective, is that something that is just really enjoyable to watch? Yeah,
definitely. And again, I think the respect level that you can tell that he is doing his homework on the opposition, the understanding of the traits that they've got as a team, he respects that, and I think that's vitally important. Probably the interesting thing for me is when I watch City play, I think, right, so if I was a manager, how would I play against City? What would my formation be? And again,
all the best.
Well, I've played 6 games against Pep now when I'm asleep, and I've drew 1 and got hammered in 5.
We're hoping that we might get a player through to talk to our team pitch side in a few moments' time. 4 goals. I know you both said at half-time you upped your score predictions to 5-0. We had 4. A goal of the day for you, Paul?
Ooh, it's got to be De Bruyne's.
It's got to be the diving header, right?
It has to be. Big shout for Kyle Walker to assist tonight as well.
Yeah.
Thought he was absolutely outstanding.
His leadership, just how good has that been? Because, you know, like we mentioned, him in the huddle, having that figurehead is something that's really important, particularly as we've mentioned over and over again. We've got young talent coming through the academy. We've got players like Kovacic, Vardiol, Nunes, Doku, all making a step up, because it is,
Alvarez,
Phil
Foden, 23.
Exactly. Yeah. You've got a mix of youth. You've got players who have spent a couple of seasons now at City, and then you've got players who have played in the Premier League and taken the step up, or have played at a high level in Europe and are taking the step up. A captain who can galvanise them, like Kyle Walker, is. How key is that to winning Premier Leagues?
He's huge, but if you speak to Kyle, he'll quickly give credit to his teammates as well, and you speak to the coaching staff, they feel that they're really fortunate to have Kyle, and then you've got Rodri, who's a leader in himself. You've got Ruben Diaz, you've got Kevin De Bruyne, you've got John Stones. You've got all these leaders that are in there together. But for me, Kyle's the main man. I thought it was massive that he stayed in the summer. Yeah. I know there was big shout about him possibly leaving, and they said he did think about it at one point. And I think the fact that he got the captaincy to progress his leadership as well. He's always been a leader, Kyle, and some players need that armband to confirm it and take them on to a different level. And he's been absolutely outstanding, and it defies everything. He seems to get quicker as he gets older.
It's insane, isn't it?
It's just...
I was looking at our coach, Carl, when he came to QPR. We got him on loan from Tottenham, and I've got to say his development as a player is... So he's taken every season. He seems to get better and better in his understanding of the game, his international career. And you're thinking, I'll be honest, would I have said that he would have gone on and had the meteoric rise that he's had? No, and that's credit to Carl. He's always had great pace. Absolutely burning pace. I think when he got through and you're saying shoot, why didn't you shoot? I've seen him shoot. Yeah. He made the right decision by turning back and trying to find the pass again. But his final play now in the final third is getting better and better and better. His defending. I'm comfortable when he's on the pitch. If the opposition break, I'm like where's Carl? He'll cover it. And again, that reliable, consistent, dependable. He's got that into his game. And again, how old is he now?
33.
33, 34. The lad's getting better with age.
Like a fine wine.
Yeah.
You mentioned there having how many leaders there are and rattling them off. There are so many on the pitch. I was speaking to Jeremy Doku week before last, and he was saying that I asked him, who in the dressing room do you go to? Who are the little groups? Who's helped you adjust? And he was like, genuinely, there is no cliques. Everyone talks to each other. Everyone works with each other. No one's separating off into little groups. Just how key is that?
The manager sets the environment and creates the culture. And again, likewise then, if a manager or part of the coaching staff spot something that's not right, I guarantee you that player, no matter how good that player is, that player would not be at the football club very long, because the culture is more important than an individual. The group, the team is more important than one individual, and I think that's an understanding, because you've got world-class players, but it's one of those, they're all valuable, and that's not just the senior pros, like the younger pros. They've got expectations put on them. This is how you act, this is how you conduct yourself, this is what the expectations are on you, and then that comes from leadership and the direction from the manager.
Is it unusual to see a dressing room and a squad so united in that way? Yeah,
it is. Look, having success helps. But genuinely, it is so together. We've done the podcast for the club. Kovacic, first thing he said, the easiest changing room he's walked into. Yeah. And he left Croatia at a young age to go into Milan, which was huge. Then left into Milan to go into Madrid, then to Chelsea. Yeah. He said, but we walked in. He said it's the easiest one. Akanji said the same thing. Yeah. All the players, and it's genuine. They're not just saying it because the cameras are there. Yeah. You can tell that they're all in it together. They all. It's
a welcoming environment.
Yeah, and they say it's such an easy place to walk into.
No, it's lovely to see. And like you say, it's not just from the cameras, because when you talk to all of them, they're all saying the same thing. And on the pitch, you can see they're all singing from the same hymn sheet as well. So really looking forward to seeing you again on Sunday. I hope you both enjoy the game. I hope it's as good a game as what we've witnessed tonight. Of course, it will be Pep's 300th Premier League game, so we hope you join us back here to celebrate that. One thing else that we're celebrating as well is the FA Youth Cup final, an opportunity for you to see the Premier League stars of the future. Before we were raving about them in years to come, sat on this sofa, I'm sure me, Keith and Paul will be shouting about some of these stars in the year to come, and you can sit there and say, I saw them first. You can do that. Man City, we're up against Leeds on the 10th of May at the Etihad Stadium. A great opportunity to see our young boys in blue. It's a 7 p.m. kickoff. Tickets, £3 for adult, £1 for concessions. It's a great price for you to see our stars of the future. We will see you there. Paul, Keith, thank you very much for this evening. It's been brilliant.